What if I told you losing her isn't a tragedy? It's the best thing that could have happened. Right now, your mind is racing. The pain is real. The questions won't stop. Was I not enough? What does he have that I don't? But let me be clear, a Stoic man doesn't beg. He doesn't chase someone who was willing to walk away. Because if she could leave so easily, she was never truly yours. And that realization, that's your power. That's your freedom. So you have two choices. Stay stuck, drowning in regret, or use this moment to forge yourself into a man so strong, so unshakable, that losing you becomes her biggest regret. This isn't about revenge. It's not about proving anything to her. It's about you. Mastering your emotions, reclaiming your worth, and finally understanding your value was never tied to her decision. A Stoic man doesn't win by holding on. He wins by letting go. Let's talk about why. Love feels real, doesn't it? The way she looked at you, like you were the only man in the world. The way she held your hand, like she'd never let go. The late night talks, the whispered promises, the feeling that this was it. That she was different, that she was yours. Here's the truth you need to understand. What you thought was love was an illusion. Most men fall into the trap of believing love is permanent. They build their world around a woman, invest everything, time, energy, emotion, thinking she'll always feel the same way. But feelings, they change. One day she's all in, the next, she's gone. And you're left standing there wondering what happened? Did you do something wrong? No. She was never yours to keep. Because women don't love the way men do. Men love with loyalty, with logic, with a sense of permanence. When a man commits, he means it. He sees her as his future. But women, they love based on how they feel in the moment. And when that feeling fades, when the excitement is gone, when she starts craving something new, she starts looking elsewhere. Not because you weren't good enough, not because you failed, but because she was never yours. Only her feelings were. And feelings, they're like the wind. A Stoic man understands this. He doesn't see love as something to possess. He doesn't believe in forever. He knows that nothing in life is truly permanent. Not success, not emotions, not even the people we care about most. That's why when a woman leaves, he doesn't chase, he doesn't beg, he doesn't collapse into self-pity. He accepts reality, he steps back, he lets her go. And that right there, that's his power. Because the man who cannot be broken by love is the man who commands respect. The man who does not chase is the man who is chased. And the man who does not need her is the man she regrets losing the most. She's gone. And now she expects you to break. She expects you to text her late at night, looking for answers. To sit in the dark, replaying every moment, wondering what you could have done differently. She expects you to drown in self-doubt, to chase after her, to prove that you were worth choosing. That's exactly why you won't, because a weak man lets his emotions control him. He reacts, he lets pain, anger, and fear drive his actions. He begs for closure, thinking that if he just says the right thing, if he just explains, she'll suddenly see his worth. But deep down, he knows the truth. Begging doesn't bring respect, it destroys it. A Stoic man? He does the opposite. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That's the test in front of you right now. Will you let rejection define you, or will you use it to build something greater? Because every time you chase, every time you try to make her reconsider, you send one message. You still have power over me, and that's why you must detach. You take every ounce of that energy, every thought wasted on her, and you redirect it into your mind, your body, your purpose. You sharpen yourself, step by step, building a life so strong, so full, that you don't need anyone to complete it. And the paradox happened. The moment she realizes you didn't crumble, that you didn't beg, that you became stronger without her, that's when she starts questioning everything. She wonders, did I make a mistake? And that's when the power shifts. Walking away isn't losing, it's winning. Most men don't see it that way. They think walking away means giving up, admitting defeat, letting her slip through their fingers. So they resist. They plead. They try to remind her of what they had, hoping she'll realize she made a mistake. They send one last message, thinking maybe, just maybe, she'll change her mind. And the brutal truth, she already knew how much you cared. She already knew this would hurt you. And she still walked away. That means your words won't bring her back. Your effort won't make her reconsider. Nothing you say will change the fact that she made a choice. And now, it's your turn to make yours. A weak man clings. A stoic man walks away. Not out of anger, not to prove a point, but because he respects himself too much to beg for a place in someone's life. Because he understands that real power isn't in trying to convince someone to stay. It's in knowing when to leave. And that's when everything shifts. Because people only value what they fear losing forever. And when you remove yourself, not as a game, not as manipulation, but because you truly refuse to settle for anything less than what you deserve, she will feel your absence like never before. See, most men crumble when they lose a woman. They stay in the background, hoping she'll reach out. They lurk on her social media, looking for signs that she's thinking about them. They make themselves available, just in case she changes her mind. But a stoic man disappears. No messages, no checking up, no waiting around. And that silence, it speaks louder than any words ever could. Because here's what no one tells you. She doesn't miss you because of what you say. She doesn't regret leaving because you reminded her of the good times. She regrets it because you became something she no longer has access to. And that's why walking away is the most powerful move you can make. Not because it guarantees she'll come back, but because it guarantees you'll never be the man who waits for someone to realize your worth. Silence is power. It's the one thing most men underestimate when a woman walks away. They feel the urge to fill that silence, to explain themselves, to send long messages in search of closure. But every word they send is a reminder that she still has control over them, that she still matters enough to make them break their composure. That's why a stoic man says nothing. He understands that silence isn't emptiness. It's a statement. It's an unbreakable wall. Because when you choose to be silent, you're telling her, I don't need you to validate me. I don't need you to understand my pain. And I definitely don't need you to feel whole. Your absence becomes your loudest statement. It shows that you value your self-respect over any temporary relief that begging might bring. Silence does something no words ever can. It forces her to sit with her decision, to face the reality of what she chose. And that's when the doubt begins to creep in. She starts to wonder, why hasn't he reached out? Does he not care? Did I make a mistake? Because here's the part nobody tells you. People expect you to react. They expect you to crack, to break, to fight for their attention. When you don't, it creates a vacuum, a space where her thoughts start to spiral. She remembers how every other man would have begged, how they'd flood her with messages. But you vanished. Without a word, without a trace. That silence makes her question if she underestimated you. If maybe you're stronger, more valuable, more unshakable than she realized. And that's why silence is your greatest weapon. Not because it's meant to hurt her, not because it's meant to make her come crawling back, but because it proves that you're in control of yourself. It shows that your sense of worth doesn't depend on external validation. A man who can stay silent in the face of rejection is a man who cannot be controlled, because he doesn't need to convince anyone of his value. He knows that value exists with or without her. And that kind of quiet strength, it's unforgettable. Before we dive into reason number 5, we'd like to take a moment to thank you for staying with us halfway through this video journey. In every moment, we can learn and grow. And the fact that you are here listening and reflecting with us is a tremendous gift that I cherish every minute. To help us spread these valuable lessons to even more people, please hit the like and share buttons for this video. Each share is a small but meaningful act, much like the timeless lessons Stoicism offers. Let's continue exploring and embracing these everlasting pieces of wisdom together. Once again, thank you for your continued support. The best revenge? It's not anger. It's not proving her wrong. It's not even making her miss you. It's becoming the man she can never have back. Most men stay stuck in the past. They replay every moment, trying to understand where it all went wrong. They dwell on what could have been, wasting their time and energy on something they can't change. They stay trapped in a cycle of regret, hoping that one day she'll see what she lost and come running back. But a Stoic man? He does something different. He doesn't sit around mourning what's gone. He transforms, physically, mentally, financially. Every rep in the gym isn't just about looking better. It's a symbol of his discipline, his resilience, his ability to take pain and turn it into strength. Every dollar he earns isn't just money. It's proof that he's building something, creating a future that no one can take from him. Every book he reads, every skill he masters, every moment he spends investing in himself. It's all a declaration that he was always the prize. And when she sees the man you've become, when she realizes that you didn't just move on, but leveled up so high that she can't even reach you anymore, that's when the regret sets in. But by then, she won't even be in your league. Because while she was busy looking for something better, you were becoming better. While she was caught up in distractions, you were building something real. While she was making choices based on fleeting emotions, you were becoming a man who no longer seeks validation because he knows his worth. And that's the kind of man women regret losing. But the most powerful part? By the time she realizes it, you won't care, because your focus isn't on proving anything to her. It's on becoming so unshakable, so strong, so complete within yourself that no one's absence can ever break you. That's what it means to win. Not by looking back, but by moving forward so far, so fast, so fiercely that looking back becomes irrelevant. Right now, she thinks she holds all the power. She walked away. She chose someone else. She assumes you're still thinking about her, still checking her social media, still waiting for the day she realizes she made a mistake. In her mind, you're stuck, questioning, overanalyzing, hoping. But what happens when you stop caring? What happens when you disappear? This is where everything shifts. Because the moment you remove yourself entirely, her mind turns against her. Women crave control. They expect to be desired, to be pursued, to be the center of attention. But when you show zero reaction, when you go silent, when you don't reach out, when you genuinely move forward without looking back, that's when she starts to feel something she didn't expect. Uncertainty. She starts wondering, why hasn't he reached out? Why doesn't he care? Did I misjudge him? This is why indifference is the ultimate power move. Most men try to regain control by proving their worth, posting things to get her attention, trying to make her jealous, hoping she notices. But all of that comes from attachment, and attachment is weakness. A Stoic man, he doesn't play games, he simply removes himself. Not to manipulate, not to get a reaction, but because he genuinely doesn't care anymore. And that's what destroys her sense of control. Because people always want what they feel slipping away. The moment she senses that you've truly moved on, that you no longer need her validation, that her choices don't affect you anymore, that's when the power dynamic flips. Now she's the one wondering. Now she's the one checking up on you. Now she's the one feeling the void. And the best part? By the time she starts questioning, you've already built a life so fulfilling, so powerful, that her absence means nothing to you. That's the true reversal. Not making her chase you. Not trying to get her back, but becoming a man so unshakable, so untouchable, that she realizes she didn't walk away from you, you walked away from her. Want her to notice you? Stop wanting her to notice you. Nothing is more attractive than a man who is completely unaffected. A man who doesn't flinch when she walks away, who doesn't crumble under rejection, who doesn't need her validation to feel whole. Most men do the opposite. They try harder. They chase. They think that if they just prove their worth, if they just remind her of what they had, if they just show her how much they care, she'll come back. But all that does is reinforce one thing. She was the prize. You were the one competing. A Stoic man? He doesn't compete. He doesn't seek approval. He detaches. Because the paradox here is that the less you care, the more she does. The moment she realizes you're not chasing, that you're not waiting in the background, that her presence or absence doesn't affect you, that's when she starts paying attention, because people are wired to want what they can't have. A man who doesn't need her becomes the man she needs. Remember this. When something is always available, it's taken for granted. But the moment it becomes scarce, the moment it's gone, suddenly its value skyrockets. That's why detachment is so powerful. Not as a trick, not as a tactic, but as a way of life. A weak man reacts. A Stoic man remains steady. A weak man needs answers. A Stoic man doesn't care. A weak man sees rejection as a wound. A Stoic man sees it as redirection. And that's why he never loses. Because no matter what happens, whether she stays or she goes, he remains the same solid, unshaken force. And that's the kind of man no woman forgets. At first, she feels excited about her choice. New man, new experiences, the thrill of something different. She convinces herself she made the right decision. She tells herself she's moving forward. She feels the rush of novelty, the excitement of change. But then, reality sets in. The honeymoon phase fades. The spark she was chasing, it starts to dim. The new man isn't as exciting as she thought. He doesn't carry himself the way you did. He doesn't have your presence, your strength, your unwavering sense of self. And that's when she starts comparing. She remembers how you stood firm, how you didn't beg, how you walked away without looking back. How, unlike every other man before, you didn't crumble when she left. In that absence, it starts to haunt her. Women don't feel regret immediately. At first, they're distracted. But after weeks, maybe months, when the dust settles and emotions fade, that's when she starts looking back. And what does she see? A man who didn't just move on, a man who elevated, a man who became stronger, more focused, more driven. While she was chasing distractions, you were building something real. And now she starts to wonder, did I make a mistake? But by then, you won't even care, because you won't be standing in the past, waiting for her realization. You'll be too far ahead, too focused on your own growth, too locked into your own purpose. And that's the real win. Not that she regrets leaving, but that her regret is completely irrelevant to you. She didn't leave you. You let her go. She thought she was walking away from you, thought she had the power, the control, the final decision. But in reality, she walked away from a man who was about to become unreachable. Because while she was out searching for something better, chasing excitement, indulging in fleeting emotions, you were becoming something greater. You weren't waiting. You weren't hoping. You weren't looking back. You were building. And now, you stand here, stronger, sharper, unshaken. A man who doesn't just survive loss, he thrives because of it. A man who isn't defined by whether someone stays or leaves, because his worth was never up for debate. And her? She has to live with the reality that she lost a man who never loses. Because a Stoic man doesn't chase, he doesn't beg, he doesn't waver. He understands that what is meant for him will never require him to suffer. And what isn't, he releases without hesitation. That's the mindset. That's the strength. That's why in the end, you were always the prize. This was never about her. It was always about you. She made a choice. Now you make yours. Not to wait, not to chase, not to dwell on the past, but to rise, to take every ounce of pain and forge it into power. A Stoic man doesn't lose. He doesn't beg. He doesn't break. He lets go because he knows his worth was never tied to someone else's choice. So walk away, not with anger, not with regret, but with absolute certainty that your path leads somewhere greater. And when she looks back, when she finally realizes what she lost, it won't matter. Because by then, you'll be too far ahead to care. If you're ready to leave the past behind and claim your power, drop a comment below. I choose my power. Thanks for being with Stoic Heart on this journey today. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our latest videos. We'd love to hear your thoughts or suggestions for future topics, so drop a comment below. See you in the next video.